Alright, what's going on, guys? Now, I've been playing the crew for the past couple of days now, and I know that some people don't give it the greatest reviews, but I personally like the game, I enjoy the game, so I'm just going to give a brief explanation of what I believe the game is about and why I believe it's being rated so badly and why I think it should be rated a little bit, at least a little bit better than what it is being rated at the moment. Now, before I start talking about what the game is actually about, I'm going to give a slight comparison compared to just other racing games in general. And the Crew is a type of racing game. We haven't seen this type of racing game in a very long time. We haven't seen this type of racing game. Like, the last time we saw this type of game was probably back when like Need for Speed Carbon, Need for Speed Underground 2, Need for Speed Most Wanted, the old Most Wanted anyway, where it had incorporated the first of all the personalization and the customization of your cars, as well as free roam and multiplayer. Now, this game has incorporated all that, plus it also has a more emphasis. It has a higher emphasis on multiplayer, of course, because it's got its big servers and it's got its big worlds and lots of people online. But yeah. So the Crew is based around three things, in my opinion. First of all, it's based on exploration, of course, because it's a big map. The map is based on scaled USA, so it's not the entire USA. It's not to scale. It's got iconic landmarks on there, and it's still pretty big. It's probably one of the biggest. I think Test Drive Unlimited is bigger, but this map is actually massive. Actually, I think it's bigger than Test Drive Unlimited, but yeah. It's definitely a big map. It's also based on the progression of your cars and yourself, your alias, your alias, if you will, and so like your progression of your car. So that includes customization in cosmetics and your performance, as well as your level, your perks, your collection of cars, of course, and whatnot. It's also based on, and the last thing is obviously multiplayer. It's got a really big emphasis on multiplayer, which is, I believe, is one of its strong points anyway. So I'm going to talk about each point individually. Probably exploration, not so much, because that's kind of self-explanatory. It's a big map based on America, and you can just explore wherever you want, whatever you can see you can drive on. Like if there's a massive forest, you can like dodge and weave between trees. It's pretty cool, like down a mountainside, or jump over the Great Canyon. No, yeah, and things like that. So we'll just move on to customization now. Compared to other racing games that are like this game, like Carbon and Underground 2 and Most Wanted, it's quite a high up there with customization levels. You don't have as much options as you did back in like Carbon or Underground 2, but you still have a very large amount of options with your customization. It's like it's probably the broadest customization system that we've had in about 4 years now, and it's got a good amount of customization. I find it very satisfying. You can do everything from customizing your rims to your interior to your front bumper, your hood, your wing, of course. Of course, it's missing a few things like that could be in there, like neon. If neon was in there, I'd kind of like that a little bit better. It gives them more effect on the street cars, of course, as well as like tinted windows or something like that. But still, it's the customization system is definitely very good. I do enjoy the amount of level of customization you can do with the car, especially with performance. Now, the performance side, it's very different compared to what we've seen in past, where there's a category of parts based on part of the car it is, like the engine or the wheels. You do get those kind of upgrades, but those upgrades are also, they can be randomized and based on other sort of factors within the car, but overall they still go towards the overall progression of your car. Now, moving on to the multiplayer side of things, and I did happen to get into a few PvP games. I've been mainly playing the storyline, but I did get into a few PvP races, and they were very competitive, they were very challenging and very, very fun. It can go from 4 to 8 players, depending on what game mode you obviously play on, and depending on whether you're playing just free-for-all or for your factions. It's definitely a very fun experience and competitive experience, and it's kind of even as long as your cars are all on the same kind of level, and your cars do have a level stat, so it will match you up with people with the same level of car, and so it makes even, and it makes the PvP more competitive. I talk about a lot of the good things about the game, but one of the bad things about the game is the storyline. The storyline doesn't really go in depth. It's basically like, oh yeah, you move on to this section, you do all these races for this guy, and then you're done with him and you move on. And you go to the next guy and you just sort of work your way up the ladder. It's kind of like in Most Wanted, but the game isn't necessarily based around the storyline. A lot of people need to understand that the game is based around multiplayer. It's definitely a big multiplayer experience. And the storyline is kind of just there to guide you through the exploration, of course, and the customization of your cars, because it does guide you through the different specs of your cars, whether it be dirt, street, performance, circuit, or raid. So the storyline isn't very deep. It's not really one to pay attention to, but it's just kind of there to guide you through it. So it's fun to get through, like to do the missions, but I don't really give the game lots of points based on the storyline. Now, I'm going to talk about the car specs a little bit. It does kind of break off with the customization aspect, but with the different specs of the car, whether it be raid, dirt, street, circuit, or performance, you can tell the difference between how all of them handle and how all of them behave. Of course, when you're driving dirt or raid, it will slide a lot more. You'll have a lot more control over your car on dirt or something like that, where if you're playing with street or performance or circuit, you're more likely to have a better experience on the road, on the tarmac, on the race course, whatever. Now, I have collected some more crew clips to bring out to you guys later this week, so probably tomorrow, the day after, so make sure to look out for them. And at the moment, I'm really liking the crew. Although I know a lot of people give it bad ratings and don't really enjoy it as much, but to me, it's a type of racing game that I've been looking for a very long time. I've been looking for like another Carbon or Underground 2. I really enjoy this game. I'm going to keep playing it until it gets boring, and at the moment, it hasn't really let me down, so yeah, I'm going to keep playing it. And so, till next time, have a nice day or night, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.